Dude, if that shit's not horrific, wow. Some of these graves are wild forgotten. That's sad, like, that dude, wow. But it is a really beautiful carving. It's sort of all hand. Alright dudes, welcome to the year 1858 and the Learmonth Cemetery in central Victoria. We're not far out of Melbourne, about an hour and a half. This cemetery was set up by a guy by the name of the Reverend George Mackey. In 1858 he applied to the local public lands office for a plot of land for a cemetery. It wasn't truly established till 1859. 24th of May saw the first burials there. It was twin babies by a Miss Clune. The ugly truth of it is too, dudes, she'd probably done this alone. I'm pretty confident that the Reverend George Mackey would have been present, but that's probably about it. I'm speculating, but I'm just trying to piece together what that time set would have actually been like. Not long after that, Janet Webster, 10th of June 1859, she was the first adult to be buried here in the cemetery. Again, the Reverend probably took part in the burial. There's a total of 1,179 memorials in here. That's at the time of filming, so they are still putting people in here. It doesn't look overly populated, as you can see by this footage. When you approach this cemetery, it's got a real grand sort of a look about it, with this big hill in the background with these old trees and rocks. It's pretty wild when you first approach it. I'm hanging out to get a look in and around here, guys, and I'm sure you guys are as well. That's why you're watching. Let's get amongst it and see what stories we can find in here. Come with me. Our dear infant daughter, Myrtle Elizabeth, killed in a motor accident. At Avoca, 13th of April 1918, aged 4.5 years. That would have had to have been one of the earliest motor car accidents going around, I reckon. That's rough. Just at the, this is the Learmonth Cemetery. Check this out. It backs up perfectly against this hill. It's almost like a Blair Witch Project style, very creepy looking hillside. Not sure whether that shows up on camera or whether it resonates that hard, but I've been walking around here for some time. And what I first thought was a slightly, I don't know, boring's not the right word, yeah, but I just thought, oh, I'm not going to find much here. But the stories that I've come across, dudes, wait till I show you some of this stuff. It's actually the way the history twists up when people go. It's a little mind-bending. And some of these graves, and I'm going to show you, don't worry, but they're almost a bit, they've almost got like some sort of a grandeur about them. Almost done in like a, I don't know, you'll see what I mean. They're very grand, some of them are very, very grand, and they overlook the lake. So Learmonth is in central Victoria, and there's actually a lake, and it's probably not going to show up on camera, but way out over there, you'll see in the valley, there is a lake. And it's usually dried up, Learmonth, but nowadays we've got water in it again. And this hillside overlooks it all, which is pretty cool. And the further up the hill we get, obviously the more grand your view gets, if there's such a thing as a grand view. But I was talking to my buddy before, and we were sort of saying, well, if you could choose a plot in a cemetery, are you going to take the one down the bottom of the hill? Or are you going to take the one at the top of the hill with the killer view? Well, I'm probably taking the one with the killer view because it's pretty permanent, yeah? No pun intended, but it's permanent, yeah? We've noticed there's a lot of reverends. Check this out, man. We've got the Reverend here, Reverend Rupp, and there's two in here, Reverend Charles Herman Rupp. I don't know what the go is with that, but a lot of these have actually, you can see this was sort of stuck in here with some sort of a, I don't know, wouldn't have been a glue Maybe it was a like a mortar mix or something, but it's let go. I was thinking to myself earlier about this tree. I was thinking about this tree and I was thinking, that's a big tree, man. Again, it doesn't show up on camera, but I can assure you it's big. Like, there's a foot amongst the base of it. It's way bigger than any of the trees that are still standing. But they've smashed this one down. Obviously, it's gone rotten. Fair credit to whoever chopped that down without having it come down and demo like all these graves. Good boy, whoever did that. Stephen Vaughan, 1865, age 28. Also their twin daughters. Yuck. Blanche and Anne. 15 days and 17 days. How do things get so wrong for these poor guys? So let me get this straight, yeah? Anne died, Stephen buries her. That's in February 23rd. And then March the 2nd, like we're talking, what's that, like a week later, Blanche dies and then Anne. So mum and daughters must have been sick. There was obviously some complication with the birth, some kind of sickness has developed. Yeah, and poor old Stephen Vaughan here, he's had to bury his whole family. So at the end of it all, March 4th, come March 4th in 1865, that finalised the last day of his entire family. They were all dead and placed in the ground. Dude, if that shit's not horrific, wow. I know I spend a lot of time looking at these horrific stories, but it's just, wow, we just don't, this shit nowadays breaks the news. Like, we don't really hear of it now. Not to say it doesn't happen, like some people are unfortunate. So bad, mate, but I guess it happens, but don't need to walk around these joints for very long and it's everywhere. Like pre-1900, it's just so common. Just so common. That's sad, like that dude, wow. See what I was saying before about official, look at this. This is like propped up in some sort of grandeur manner and it has like these shields of remembrance, you know. It's got a real presence about it, you know, like bam. It's getting to be in quite a state of disrepair. The castings have really started to, you know, break up and fall to pieces, but down the hill a little bit here, I did notice, wow, look at this. Jesus. Wow. Look at the tumble this thing's had. That's a big tombstone. There's my hand on it. Who have we got? G.G. Morton, age 75 years. Geez, that's taken a real tumble. Look at that. It's just got soft in the dirt. And it's obviously, like as they do, you know, like it's not like I've never seen it before, but this has really gone off with a catastrophic crunch. It's mowed down the heavy castings and the way that it's hit the, yeah, look at the way it's hit the steelwork behind it. It's caved it in real hard. Yeah, it's pretty colossal. We got over there. Just noticed police written on this. Let's check this out. Police. In fond memory, my dearly loved husband, Frederick Perkins. What's it say? Late of the Victorian Mounted Police. Wow, that's pretty cool. 31 years old. Wow. Wonder what they mean by Victorian Mounted Police. I'm assuming like horse mounted. When it says mounted, that's instantly what I thought of. Can only assume. I like this, it's very ornate. Still surrounded with sadness because the wife's sort of stood here and laid him to rest. This is pretty crazy looking. Jeez. That's taken a big tumble. This looks like the concrete would have, I don't know, all stood up around it. That was probably on the top, and then, yeah, the vase was at the very pinnacle of it all. It would have been quite a big monument at one point. It's big. These are sharp too. Wow, you wouldn't want to be running away from something and get stuck on one of them. That'd be the end of you. Jeez, the one behind it too, this is hammered. Wow. It's like an old sandstone. I can't even read that, dudes. No, I can't even read it. Can't even give you a year on that. That's crazy. Beautiful carving in it at one point though. Check that out. All hand carved, whatever it was. It's like the graves sort of stop on the fringe. Must be like an invisible fence line along here. It's like the graves sort of stop, and it's mad rocky too. I did notice there's quite a few rocks sticking up out of the... There's a big rock sticking up over here, which makes me wonder what kind of an epic job it would have been to actually dig a grave here. Robert Smith died at Burrum Beat, 35. Also his wife, age 55. Their son, age 25. Their daughter, age 2 years. It's a shit story. It's just a shitty story. I guess Margaret done, by the looks of that, she done the best out of it. Yeah, 1891. She made it to 55 years, but that's very uncanny. Margaret died 2nd of April, and then on the 9th, Robert. I wonder what killed Robert. 1867 saw Robert, the dad. He was 35, right? So he's long gone. 1867 sees him out. Margaret lives on until 1891. She dies. And then we're talking 7 days later, her son, Robert, named after his father, obviously, Robert Jr., he dies at 25 years of age. Wow. I wonder what killed them two within 7 days. I wonder if that was a sickness. I feel like I need to look that up. You know what, I might look up a death certificate and I might not, but that's bizarre. That's really close, like they're within 7 days of each other. I wonder if I'm speculating. We might look that up. So I did take the time to look up Margaret first. She died at age 55, 2nd of April, 1891. Cause of death noted was jaundice. Jaundice is usually a thing that happens to babies. You know how they're a little bit yellow, but it corrects itself, it goes away. I wasn't aware, but it is a thing with adults. A quick Google search read me this. Jaundice was understood as a symptom of underlying disease, often linked to liver conditions, was not typically treated with specific vaccines or modern medical interventions available today. It says it relied on observations like skin and urine colour. Management was usually focused on rest and dietary adjustments. It goes on to say that reflecting the limited medical knowledge of the era. 7 days later, poor old mate Robert cops it. 7 days, same family, poor family. It turns out that Robert actually died of pernicious anemia. I think I'm saying that right. And exhaustion. They've thrown exhaustion in there as well. I don't know why they do that. It's kind of like it's kind of like the guy was really obviously burned out. This anemia thing they're saying is a vitamin B12 deficiency. I'm not sure how true this is. I'm not a doctor. But to take out a 25-year-old, he must have been super malnourished in some way, shape or form. Illness duration is noted at 2 years. I know farm guys work pretty hard, but this is pretty epic. And to be honest, it's really not the cause of death that I thought we were going to see. I was speculating again. It's a very honest cause of death, but it's still absurd at that age. I'm sure you guys agree. I just wanted to note real quick too that 2 names on the same extract is a bit of a fluke, to be honest. But yeah, they were both on the same extract. I sort of suspected that they were going to be honest. And I honestly wouldn't have thought that there'd be too many entries in a 1 week period back in that time set in a place as small as Learmonth. It's still a tiny place to this day. Quite a few of these monuments have taken, I wouldn't call it a severe tumble, but I guess you could call it a severe tumble because they're tumbled. 10 weeks. 10 weeks. Beautiful headstone. Super nice. Look at this for grandeur. Superb looking. It's like a royal courtyard of stonework. Just absolutely superb. It would have been the grandest, most opulent burial space back in the day. The families would have stood here so proud that they were able to provide this kind of a send-off with just a, like, look at the view out there. Epic. If you're into the countryside, I mean, like, all you can hear is birds chirp here and the cows in the distance, but like, that is it. That is all we can hear. Superb. Love it. Look at it. And just the detail of it is super, super superb. I was talking about rocks. How do you dig amongst this? That's pretty serious rock. Yeah, there's quite a few of these flat ones. This is flat. I don't reckon that's taken a tumble either. I reckon that's been done flat. There's quite a few here that I believe have been flat all along. Died in Melbourne, 1896, aged 64 years. Beautiful quality on this sphere. It's, I don't know whether it shows up on camera, but it is as polished as, yeah, it's polished, eh? And again, another fairly spectacular one. Got a plot of 5. Again, it's what I was saying earlier with that sort of grandeur. You know, they've got the pinnacle view at the absolute top of the hill. This family. What's the family we got here? Erected by Henry and Margaret Sutherland, natives of Scotland. It's in the memory of their beloved mother. She lived to 87. And their children. Little Catherine, she died at 3 months. Margaret Ann, 1 month. There's not many people on the placard considering all the graves, but there is an additional one that somebody's erected at some point. Families do the family tree, you know, I've mentioned that in the past. People revisit, you know, through ancestry and find a grave and doing their family tree or whatever, and they come out and they re-erect things to, you know, add additional information to the history for the future generations of family or whatever, and that's cool. Like, if somebody doesn't do it, like, they end up as forgotten about as a lot of these graves. And dudes, some of these graves are wild forgotten. Like, seriously, some of them are, they're done for. Bam. Is it forgotten about? Pretty much. This is looking quite spectacular. Geez, that's in superb condition. A lot of people in there. I'm not even going to try and go through that. 10 months, 11 months, 85 years, 25 years, 79 years. Yeah, we've got a broad spectrum of people in there. Gee, I'm telling you, it's in superb order. Wonder who made that. There's no maker's mark. No maker's mark on the bottom corners. No. Some creep show ones off to the side, dudes. Let's go for a walk and see. What do we got? We got long lost and forgotten over here under the old matey pine tree. That's smashed off at the base. I'd like to say that the actual stone itself is probably buried under all the pine needles. I'm pretty confident it would be. I doubt someone would physically leave the premises with it, but you never know. What have we got on this side? Jesus, it's buried with pine needles. What do we got? Erected by Roderick and Mary Forbes in memory of their beloved daughter Anne, 18th of December 1870, aged 25. Really? 25? Why does a perfectly healthy 25-year-old girl get buried? It's another one that sort of, it makes me curious, like I need to look it up. So I might look that up as well. We'll see. We shall see. And see, we did, but I actually ended up tearing my hair out over this one. I couldn't find her anywhere. I ended up searching her dad's name, her mum's name. I was searching Learmonth. I started searching just Forbes in Learmonth. I couldn't find nothing, dudes. It was a real hair stringer for me to come up with anything on this, but you can see why. It's listed as Annie. I should have known better. It's not Anne. Her headstone says Anne. Her death certificate said Annie. That stumped me for a good 2 hours. And in the end, the burning question that everyone wanted to know, what actually put Annie in the ground? Tuberculosis. Yep, phthisis, cause of death. 6-year duration according to this. Ercildoune was the location. Ercildoune's a beautiful part of the world, all farm district, very close to this very cemetery. Massive old school mansion there, privately owned. Yeah, but I'm getting off topic. Point being, that's what put Annie here, tuberculosis. Every time I hear tuberculosis, I think of old mate Doc Holliday. If you don't know who Doc Holliday is, well, you probably should read a book or, I don't know, do something, because he's a legend. And the other thing that I think of when I think of tuberculosis is I don't really associate it with women. You generally think that it's a more manly thing to have, but tuberculosis doesn't pick and choose friends, and it doesn't know the difference between a women's lung or a man's lung. It just goes for whatever, and that's what's gone down. You know, dudes, it's strange. It's like these two are just sort of, look at this guy. Beside Anne here, we've got this guy sitting here with, you know, no mention of anything. Obviously a tree branch at some point. You can see someone's sort of done what they can to cut up a pretty serious tree fall. There's the remains of a stump up the back here, but it's taken a tumble on the fence here. It's actually, Anne survived it miraculously because the castings around her crypt are, it's not a crypt, around her graveside are in really nice condition, but this one's copped a pretty serious belt. This one's been kicked in the arse really hard. It's pretty crazy. It takes a pretty serious welt to do that. And it's not from this little twiggy stick, that's for sure. It's funny how them two are just sort of out there by themselves. Like the lower section of the paddock, there's a residence to the side here, but the lower section here has got nothing's been interred there. There's a couple down the bottom there by themselves, which is, again, weird. Some people like to be left alone, so they probably chose to be put down there and just leave me be or something, I don't know. It's taken a decent tumble. Can't read it anymore either. It's pretty much the end of it. Sometimes I get really curious as to what they'd say. You know, it bums me out a little bit that it's not audible. When I say not audible, I mean not readable. That sort of pisses me. Jesus, this is big. That pisses me off if you can't read it. Wow, look how thick this is. Again, this is a sizable plot. I would say at least 4 graves, but probably 5. Beautiful, big, heavy-duty castings here. Like, superb. In a bit of a state of disrepair. It's had marble columns either side of it, and it's taken a tumble. I actually, to be honest, don't know why it's taken a tumble, because its base column is still sitting really plumb, yeah? But the top of it, I'm not going to go in here and fiddle around too much, but that's my hand. I've got little hands for a dude that's over 6 foot, but Jesus, that's thick. I mean, the weight of it is definitely pretty epic. But why would that have done a tumble like that? It makes you wonder whether vandalism might have played part. Although it doesn't really look like the kind of place that would cop a lot of vandalism. And being where it is, dudes, this joint's a long way from anything. Beautiful big casts, man, they're killer. This I just noticed. What do we got going on here? This is the same. The cross has come down. Really nice piece too, just quietly. And it looks like, am I right in saying, yeah, it looks like the monuments, the scripture has actually, it would have been glued in there, or I don't know, again, like mortar or something would have been holding it in. What's that say? It says, Mary, beloved wife of James Sidney, aged 70 years, 1898, so it's got some age on it. What's this one say? Their children, James, aged 5 years, Margaret, aged 7 months. Shit story. Yuck. It's always little kids. The little kids copped it. I swear the little kids copped it the worst. No. That's creative. That's wild creative. 65 years, but then the child of the above, I'd say, 6 months. Looks sort of late model. I don't know how late model, but it's not as old. Yeah, 1950. It's getting too late. Although 1882. 1882. The Davy family. So they've obviously come back later on and done an update. On the 1882 grave site, they've definitely updated it when this has taken place in the 1950s. That is not 1882. But they've obviously done both at once. What is this masterpiece? This is crazy looking. Dalgleish, in memory of Dalgleish, Scotland, 1939. Late of Lake Bolac, died 1918. Boy. Wow. Love it. That's your boy F-Dub Commons. Any wonder? Any wonder? Yeah, I thought it looked pretty grand. He does some good work, yeah? If you didn't watch the FW Commons special, you should watch it. I know it's a plug for my own videos or whatever, but yeah, if you're into tombstones and graves and FW Commons, man, I'm telling you, he knocked it out of the park with some of the monuments. Like, he really built some. Here it is again. FW Commons, look at that. He's your boy. I see his name. It turns up a lot on a lot of the graves, and I happen to see it all the time, but I guess it's one of them things now, it just sort of stands out to me, I don't know. But coincidentally, I've never really seen any of his graves that are sort of on the piss or fallen over or in real bad state of disrepair. You never really see that. A lot of work gone into this one. What we got? The Burrows, 1880. Martha, 1876. Infant daughter, aged 4 months. Their son, aged 21 years and 3 months. It's another shit story. 21-year-old. Like, how's a 21-year-old just end up passing away? Yeah, but the whole family got to be together again, I guess. That's what it was about. I guess that's what it's still about. These look to me like, I don't know, have they been, by the damage on the base here, it looks like they were probably vertical. But this one at least, that one's always been flat. But I'd say these two have been vertical and they've fallen over, so they've just laid them. Here's something you don't see too often. It's still got all its bronze work. Wow, these are just cool as. Don't really see that very often. And the reason that we don't see that very often is because people come out and knock it off, and they knock it off because it's worth money. They're pretty solid too. Yeah, they're solid, dude. Beautiful piece. Absolutely superb. Look at the grandeur of it. Again, got that epic view that'll just never go away. If that goes away, it's because a meteorite took us out. Love it. These are just crazy Star Wars looking. Beautiful. Awesome quality. It's got that iconic marble stonework, pyramid, crypt, tomb sort of top on it. A lot of stonework in it. This thing, when it was done, you've got to imagine, I'm not going to do it, right, but you could polish this up and it would sort of start to, see the gold on the stone behind it, see the gold etching, the inlay on the writing? It sort of would have had that kind of, yeah, I wish I could get a dirty piece and polish it for you just to show you. I might see if I could do that one day. This would have been as glammed up as jewellery, literally. It would have been popping gold. The stonework here would have been as polished as a brand new stone bench top in a new home. This thing would have been absolutely wild. Like, dude, I'm telling you, it would have been wild. Like, the family would have stood here and they just would have stood here like, you know, like, we've done our very best. You know, we've literally given them the absolute best send off that we can, and there's nothing more than that we could do. Like, that's what I see when I see that, because I can look, what I do as a day job, I can look beyond the damage and I can see the grandness that something once was, or could be again too, if you ever wanted to clean it up. Like, that would be entirely, you know what I'm saying, like, that would be entirely up to you if you wanted to clean up a monument, but we're not allowed to. My understanding of it is that we're not allowed to interfere with them. It is what it is, and if you are a descendant of the family, you need to seek permission off whatever given cemetery it may be, and rightfully so. They can't have just anybody coming in here with pressure cleaners, and people think they're doing good, but they're probably doing more harm than good sometimes too. Like, they come in with wire wheels and start smashing at headstones, and if we did that every 5 years, at the end of 10 years or 20, 30 years time, you know, every time we do it, we're taking off a bit more history, and in the end, there's nothing left. So they just, anyway, I'm rambling, but you know what I'm saying. I don't want people in here screwing around with it. This is very cool. Don't see much of this laying flat as this one is. It's a really beautiful carving. I know that sounds cheesy, but it is a really beautiful carving. It's sort of all hand scrolled out down in here, and it would have been, when it was put here, it would have been way, way more detailed. I'm not sure what the family name is here. Quinlivan from Ireland. Yeah, we've got a burial here, 1867, 56-year-old. 1868, 17-month-old, it's getting shit. 1871 saw another 16-month-old, and wife and mother, born 1824, died 1883. Their son Thomas, born 1842, died 1920. That's not too bad. Yeah, okay, so it's, yeah, it looks to be a fairly normal family. There's a few children in there, which is always sad. I always find it way sadder. But yeah, someone's been, that's what I was saying, someone's definitely been scrubbing at this. I'm not sure that it shows up on camera too well, but someone's recently been scrubbing at it. And to be in this condition, I believe that someone's regularly scrubbed at it. Otherwise, given the dates, last interment that I see on there being 1920, that's still 105 years ago in round figures. I would have thought it would be looking more like this one. Yeah, or even more so, looking more like this, but it looks like that, and that's because somebody's really scrubbed at it. And in the past, someone scrubbed at it really hard too, because you can almost see, again, you won't see it on camera, but the etching is sort of really been gouged at with a wire brush or something. Again, probably not, I don't know, it's debatable. It's probably not ideal, yeah? Pretty much sums up this cemetery, dudes. I really enjoyed it. Is there such a thing? Yeah, there is. Hell yeah, there is. This is a cool cemetery. It has got, again, like, sun's sort of setting. Look at that out there. Got some crazy storms rolling out there over the over the lake. I know you can't see it too good on camera, but you get the rough idea. The cows over here haven't shut up the whole time. They're just going for it. They love it. They're happy. It's pretty epic. And the way it's got this creep show mountain in the background, it gives it, I don't know whether it's some kind of calm in it or whether it's some kind of creep show in it, but either way, I like it. I think it's cool as. Having said that, don't bury me here. If you hung out with me this long, dudes, I appreciate you all hanging out with me, you know that. Give me a subscribe, hang out with me a bit more often, and we'll catch up on the next run. I'm out of here. It's freezing cold. Bye, everyone.